Welcome back to Adam's Acoustic Arsenal. Today we're going to shoot out a couple of amps that I reviewed not too long ago, the Fender Acoustic Junior and the Fishman Loudbox Mini. So, let's get started. Okay, so if you haven't seen the review videos of the Fender Acoustic Junior and the Fishman Loudbox Mini, you can check those out in the description below. Both of them are great amps, but today what I wanted to do was just do a side-by-side comparison where you're only looking at the amp and you're listening to the things that it can do. So, with the Fender Acoustic Junior, there are several effects that come with the amp. There's a couple different reverbs, there's a delay, an echo, vibratron or something like that, and then a chorus delay and a delay reverb. And there's also a looper. So if you haven't seen the review, check it out, because the looper's pretty neat. It's not super functional, but it does work, and you can use it for practice. So in the review, or the shootout per se, for the Fender, I go through all of the effects. I'll put a little description of each effect as it goes down the list. And then I'm also going to do a vocal demo for both of them, because they both take XLR inputs for the second channel. And for the shootout, they're both in DI mode through the camera mixer, so you hear what it would sound like if you were running it through a PA. Now, they're about 4 or 5 minutes each. I play a similar song or a similar chord progression for each one. With the Fender, I did do a little bit of chord progression loop with a solo over. But they're really cool. They're good amps. On the Loudbox Mini, it's only got reverb and chorus, so you hear that. It's interesting because the Loudbox doesn't have a headphone jack. So my playing was a little bit off, I think, from the vocals. But either way, you'll get the point. And at the end of the review, or the shootout, I'll give you what I think is the one you should buy for which scenario. So here we go first with the Fender Acoustic Junior. Okay, so that was the Fender Acoustic Junior. It's a really great amp. I think for practice-wise, it's fantastic. And for south of $400, it's got a lot of effects. I think they're useful effects. I wish that they would tweak the vocal, or at least tweak the second channel so that you could add a different effect to the vocals instead of just matching them. But if not everybody's going to use the second channel for a second vocal. You could run 2 guitars through it and have 2 different guitar settings with different effects. So it's neat. But now let's get on to the second part of the shootout, which is the Fishman Loudbox Mini. so that was the Fishman Loudbox Mini. It's a great amp. It's built like a tank. There's a lot of metal components to it. It's heavy, so it feels like it could take a drop if you were carrying it to a gig. It's got a great tone to it. It's got a ton of headroom. The Loudbox Mini will get so loud, and it's the same watts as the Acoustic Junior. But for some reason, just the way it's built, I think the speaker might be a little bit better, but it will absolutely pump. Vocal test. Vocal test. Said the house is empty. We ain't looking for a fight. Now, which one should you buy? I think it depends on what you're going to use it for. If you are a solo acoustic musician that's going to gigs all the time or playing open mic nights or playing this in a setting where you are singing or playing to other people, I would recommend that you probably get the Loudbox Mini. I think it's better suited for gigs. I think that it's louder, and I think it's ultimately meant to run through a PA, and it's got a really, really nice reverb to it. And also, if you're going to do gigs, if you're going to use effects for your gigs and acoustic stuff, then you're going to want pedals anyway. The Fender effects are good. I think they sound good, but adjusting stuff on an amp while you're at a gig is not super user-friendly. So, for gigging folks, I think the Loudbox Mini is the answer. But if you're like me and you don't really do gigs, you just play in your house and you do recording, I think that the Fender Acoustic Junior is super solid. It's a little bit more expensive than the Loudbox Mini, but at the end of the day, it's light. It looks really sharp. It's styled after a Blues Junior, I think. So for me, I would probably buy the Fender Acoustic Junior. I think it sounds just as good. I like the fact that it's got a headphone jack, and I can sit in this little studio room and play with my headphones on, and nobody's going to hear it. At the end of the day, it depends on what you're using it for. I have no use for a Loudbox Mini in my house, but I could find lots of uses for the Fender in my studio. So, tell me what you think. Which one do you think would be more useful under which scenario? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe. And again, thanks to Willis Music for letting me borrow these amps to do a review and a shootout. You can check these out at willismusic.com. They will ship anywhere in the country, and I'll put a link in the description. Thanks for watching Adam's Acoustic Arsenal. See you next time.